Welcome to Edupedia World. Our next topic is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. In this particular video, we will discuss the reasons behind economic reforms and what was the new economic policy introduced by the government. Since independence, India followed the mixed economic system by combining the advantages of the market economic system, that is the capitalist economy, with those of the planned economic system, that is the socialist economy. But in reality, the public sector dominated the control and regulation of our economy, and private sector was ignored. There was a huge investment in the public sector and very low investment in the private sector. The dominance of the public sector for about 4 decades led to establishment of various rules and laws which hampered the process of growth and development. There are many reasons for economic reforms. The economic condition of India in the year 1990 was very miserable. It was due to the cumulative effect of number of reasons. So we'll discuss the various reasons which aroused the need for making major economic reforms in the country. Among them, the first one is the poor performance of public sector. In the 40-year period, that is from 1951 to 1990, public sector was assigned an important role to work for the economic development of India. However, except for few public enterprises, the overall performance was very disappointing. Considering the huge losses incurred by a good number of public sector enterprises, the government recognized the need for making necessary reforms. Second reason is deficit in balance of payment, that is BOP. Deficit in BOP arises when foreign payments for imports exceed foreign receipts from exports. Even after imposing heavy tariffs and fixing quotas, there was a sharp rise in imports. On the other hand, there was slow growth of exports due to low quality and high prices of Indian goods in the international market. Next reason is inflationary pressures. There was a consistent rise in the general price level in the economy due to increase in money supply and shortage of essential goods. Next reason is fall in foreign exchange reserve. In 1991, foreign exchange reserves fell to the lowest level and it led to the foreign exchange crisis in the country. Foreign exchange reserves declined to a level that was not adequate to finance imports for more than 2 weeks and to pay the interest that needs to be paid to international lenders. Next reason was huge burden of debts. The expenditure of the government was much higher than revenue. As a result, government had to borrow money from banks, public, and from international financial institutions. Next reason is inefficient management. The origin of the financial crisis can be traced from the inefficient management of the Indian economy. The government was not able to generate sufficient revenue from internal sources such as taxation, running of public sector enterprises, etc. Government expenditure began to exceed its revenue by such large margins that it became unsustainable. At times, the foreign exchange borrowed from other countries and international financial institutions was spent on meeting consumption needs. So it resulted in the crisis of 1991, which forced India for financial help from IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, and World Bank. To manage the economic crisis of 1991, Indian government approached the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, popularly known as World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, and received $7 billion as loan. For availing the loan, these international agencies expected India to liberalize and open up the economy by removing restrictions on the private sector, reducing the role of the government in many areas, and removing trade restrictions. So thus, India agreed to the conditions of the World Bank and IMF and announced the new economic policy. Now we come to the new economic policy, that is NEP, which was announced in July 1991. It consisted of wide range of economic reforms. The main aim of the policy was to create a more competitive environment in the economy and remove the barriers to entry and growth of firms. The new economic policy can be broadly classified into two kinds of measures. First one is stabilization measures, which refer to short-term measures which aim at correcting weakness of the balance of payment BOP by maintaining sufficient foreign exchange reserves and controlling inflation by keeping the rising prices under control. And the second measure is structural reform measures. They refer to long-term measures which aim at improving the efficiency of the economy and increasing international competitiveness by removing the rigidities in various segments of the Indian economy. The main features of NEP followed under the three heads, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. Out of liberalization, privatization and globalization, the first two are policy strategies and the third one is the outcome of these strategies. Liberalization, privatization and globalization, or in the short form we can say that LPG, are the supporting pillars on which the structure of new economic policy of our government has been erected and implemented since 1991. We will discuss all these topics one by one in the next videos. Thank you for watching Edupedia World videos.